Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and grow crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not all been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee. When he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the least remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or any such as come nigh a wild beast? Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I read that scripture because you have to understand that you cannot trust these Edomites. They can't even trust each other. Their confederacies are failing. Their confederacies are turning on themselves. And the imposter JOOs, the small hats, the converts in our land that stood up in our place, that are saying that they're us, while labeling us colors and different words that they made up, like Hispanic, Negro, Indian, Native. All these made up titles are the bywords that the Bible said we will be called by. They fulfilled that scripture. But I'm going to play, about 5 minutes or so of this 10-minute video from Bissamy TV. And you can see the title of the video at the bottom of the screen, with Jeffrey Sachs, who is a small hatter himself. And as a matter of fact, let's get Psalm 64:8. I'm constantly telling you how majority of the information that's exposing Esau Edom in these last moments of these last days, it comes from their own. Mostly they're women, but a lot of their men have the spirit to go against them as well, or speak about them. And this is Psalm 64:8, and it reads, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." So everyone is trying to get away from the Israelis are being isolated. America is being isolated. And you would never really know it watching the mainstream media news. All right. But if you pay attention to the internet, which is why they have to shut it down and control it, or if you have access to watching foreign media, you can clearly see that the world is forming against them and not with them. And that the Israelis are as I'll play in the second video with the rapper Low Key, when we play that video, how the Israelis in all honor, this is how you know that they're not the people of the Lord. They need help from everyone else. And they're getting help from some of a few of the Arab nations around them, which are allowing them, and they get massive aid and welfare from America. Matter of fact, that's where the majority of your welfare money is going to. All right, all your tax money is going to the Israelis and has been for the last, 50-something years. But without any further ado, Jeffrey Sachs.
I don't think there was much trustworthiness before, but I think the idea of trust is viewed by these people as naive.
And let me say this before he continues. When he said that trust, you have to remember that the Israelis started these bomb raids on Iran in the middle of peace negotiations with the president of the United States. So they either said F the president, which shows you that BB is really in control, and or the president of the United States was in on it. All right. And I can think of many stories in the Bible, you know, where they did setups like this, where they pretend to be in peace negotiations, and then suddenly they fall upon them with swords, spears. And that's pretty much what they did. Call a peaceful multitude to come together in a parley and then attack them when we're supposed to be in parley.
All that counts is power. All that counts is lethality. All that counts is that we can kill you. I was speaking to diplomats yesterday who thought that there were actual negotiations going on. I apologize for my naivete. We have a negotiator in Oman right now. This is negotiations. Well, they think that they can bludgeon the world at the threat of mass death.
Right.
The fact of the matter is that Israel is engaged in an open genocide as well as with these wars, all to the cheers of the people in the U.S. Congress. You have to wonder, I certainly don't have an answer to this. Does Mossad have kompromat on everybody? Is this a blackmail operation? Is it a bribery operation? Is it that these people are greater idiots than we can imagine? It's hard to tell. But the dangers for us in this kind of world are extraordinary. I resent it. U.S. security took another major hit in the last 12 hours because we stepped back once again from diplomacy. You think the United States is the only one that can kill people in this world? Well, one day we're going to find out to our regret that that's not quite the case.
The only thing more popular than me is wild natural deodorant.
Cherry blossom. Care about you, little slut.
Oh, I wish I could.
You just heard.
This is Psalm 64. And 2. And it reads, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows and shoot their arrows, even bitter words." So words and contracts and meetings, they set up the Lord's people, and they set up the citizens of the earth, the other nations as well. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, "Who seeth them?" They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought and every one of them, and the heart is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So the Lord, when they're planning to do evil, the Lord is going to bring evil upon them. Shalak Rayam. All right, Wamashapatyam, I'll call Adawamyan. He's going to bring it upon Esau, Edom, all of them. Okay, he's going to set them to fight against each other, and they're going to kill one another. And then in the midst of their fighting, the Lord's going to return and destroy them all.
Heard Professor Jeffrey Sachs, economist, Columbia University professor, and one of America's most respected voices on global policy, deliver a scathing indictment of the current state of U.S. foreign policy. Judge Andrew Napolitano set the stage by noting what many had hoped, that President Trump would steer the U.S. away from the influence of the neoconservatives toward a more restrained, America-first foreign policy. But as both men observed, that hope has not come to pass. Instead, we are witnessing what Judge Napolitano called a magnificent triumph for the neocon takeover of U.S. foreign policy. And Dr. Sachs didn't pull punches. He described a world where trust in U.S. leadership has collapsed, where diplomacy is replaced by threats, and where violence is seen as the only legitimate form of international engagement.
So people are looking at the U.S., they only want to deal violently with them at this point. People are coming to the understanding. That's why all the African nations are aligning themselves with the BRICS nations. All right. I don't know of any African nation that's still dealing with, with American diplomacy.
Let's unpack what he said and why it matters now more than ever. Is this a return to empire? First, let's clarify what we mean when we say neoconservatism. Neoconservatives believe in an assertive, interventionist U.S. foreign policy, one that promotes democracy, often by force.
Democracy comes with great violence. He said often by force. All right. Alphabet lifestyle, getting needles in your child's arm and in the population's arms, which often makes them more sick than the supposed diseases. Control of your freedoms, control over you can't speak anymore, taking away all your rights. All right. Elevating women over the men, elevating the alphabet lifestyle, gender politics and all that. That's democracy. And it comes at the edge of a sword. Always has.
Fronts adversaries preemptively and maintains American dominance globally. It was this ideology that drove the Iraq War, the expansion of NATO, and the regime change campaigns across the Middle East and North Africa. And
all to benefit these people. All right? And that's why these people there's so many lobbyists in America that control American politics. All right? And basically, and how do they do that? Through violence. Through colonization, land theft, through the taking of resources, through the control of currency, and and the way that democracy goes, there has to be an extreme poor and there has to be an extreme wealthy. It hasn't in my entire life. I've lived under democracy and I haven't seen it in any other way. There's never been a time when everybody was okay. It was always extremely broke people and extremely wealthy people. I've never seen it in my well over 50, heading towards 60. All right. Years of my life. All right. And from what I've seen, what happened before I was even born, from going to school and learning some history, I've never seen a time when everyone was okay. Democracy has never done that. Democracy always comes with a damn near slave class. It actually started with a slave class. Okay? This is Isaiah 47:11. Therefore evil shall come upon thee, thou shalt know from whence it riseth. The mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So these people get ready to catch a heavenly ass whooping, and it's going to come upon them suddenly. All right. The Lord said that the triumphant of the wicked is but for a moment. So they're going to set up their system. All right. And they're so close to doing it. And as soon as they do, but here we go. Let's go to the other video with low key. As a matter of fact, let me read the scripture. Also in Isaiah. (29:15). Comes out damn near every lesson now. Most brothers. Because why? They tried to hide it, but now they're getting to the point where he's not trying to hide anymore. All right. They're at the point where they're just going to, yeah, you called us with the devil. Yeah. So they get into that wisdom of Solomon too. Let our strength be the law of justice. I got all the armies. I have all the guns. I got all the missiles. Do as I say. I don't care what's right and wrong. Just do as I say. That's where they are. Okay? Because diplomacy is failing, because everybody's seeing the lies, the murder, the rape, the colonization, the unfair treatment behind it. Isaiah 29:15. Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? I was watching the brother Zahar Yahweh sent me a link yesterday, and I started watching it while he was live. What's my man name? what's his, come on, man. I'm thinking of his name. I can see his face. Dabu 7. And Dabu 7 was speaking about things that now everybody can see where this is headed. It's headed to a digitalized, controlled society, surveillance society, where they plan to implant something in you and control you 100%. Totalitarian, rule. Dabu 7 was saying that. All right. And how the world can see it. That's just where this is headed. And now you got groups like IUIC, if you notice, their videos that they're trying to backtrack and, as if they've been, if they, and now all of a sudden they agree with Great Millstone with the hundreds of videos of them scoffing, the micro C-hip, the MOTB. But anyway, back on course. Let's let Low Key give you this evidence and expose Esau Edom that much more.
Is bombing Iran relentlessly.
Hold on. Here we go.
Israel is bombing Iran relentlessly. But the truth is, this couldn't have happened without collaboration of Arab rulers in the region. Israel used Syrian airspace to refuel its jets as it struck Iran.
Now, in the defense of the Syrian, the president has been chased out of power, and Syria is fractured. As a matter of fact, U.S. and Israel presence there. You also have Russia and China there, and Syria is just a land space. I don't even know if they actually have an acting government anymore. All right, because the Israelis are in there illegally, and so is America. They've been there, for well over a decade now. With this Syrian war and all these things that's been going on. Like I said, they had a coup and chased the president out of there, who was trying to keep democracy away from his citizens. All right. And not democracy as the lie that they sell, but democracy as I explained it earlier. Because that's what true democracy is. Alphabet lifestyle, GMOs, control of your finances, the robbing of the people blind with unrighteous decrees and taxes, the abuse of medical tyranny, and all other matter of things. All right. Now they're going to collect up take all your 401ks from you. That's democracy.
The jets which launched to refuel the Israeli planes took off from Al Udeid base in Qatar. Iran is being punished for its support for the Palestinian cause. In the region today, you have the axis of resistance, which is constantly subject to war by Israel and the United States with the aid of...
And if you resist democracy, democracy labels you the T word. All right? They label you the bad guy and they're the good guy. When in most cases, it's the complete opposite. All right? Because we found out the truth about certain people that has been demonized throughout history. When you learn the real story, it's not like Gaddafi, for example, Saddam Hussein. These were all people who were cool with America until they tried to go about peacefully using a different currency to get around the heavy pressure, and control of America. All right. When they try to, you go and create their own currency and their own autonomous wealth peacefully, they, all of a sudden they become a problem. So America, through violence, wanted to keep Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white people, in rulership, and they placed Edomites over in the land of Israel, claiming to be Israelites. All right, pretty much is what they're doing, in order to forward and keep this white superiority going on. That's the true purpose of Israel. All right, because, I was just watching a video where some pastor was going back and forth with some rabbi who was saying that Christians need to worship all Jews, not just one, not just, Yahushai, but all of them. All right. And, he's angry, so that you got this enmity between the Israelis, between Judaism, I should say, and Christianity. But it's not, no one's really speaking about it mainstream, but you got this battle going on between the rabbis and Christian leaders. And Vocab Malone has been real quiet on it, but I digress.
The axis of assistance. And the Arab Iron Dome, which surrounds Israel, makes up that axis of assistance. Ask yourself, what have those rulers ever done for the Palestinian cause? And what is their current role in the Gaza genocide? Egypt has been a key facilitator of the Israeli genocidal blockade on Gaza for over a decade. Egypt worked at the beginning of the Gaza genocide to extract extortionate amounts of money from Palestinians attempting to leave Gaza for the enrichment of a businessman very close to the Sisi regime. And now the Egyptian...
Man, he should have had that Amalekite nose, didn't he? Now you got to remember too, in a lot of these Arab nations, the people are Ishmaelites, like Low Key, the rapper here, turned activists. But a lot of the leadership in a lot of these Arab countries are actually Amalekites. All right? They're actually Amalekites, like the Saudi royalty. The royal families in Saudi, they're not Arabs at all. They're actually Amalek. They're the same people as, the small hats. Okay? Remember that.
Government is stopping.
Mr. Wonderful here. My friend Howard Marks is the co-founder of Activision.
When I watched this
the
video,
gaming giant that was just acquired for an impressive...
Those inhumanity with a conscience from reaching Gaza.
Have you ever heard an Arabic woman trying to breastfeed her flaccid child as it dies, and her breasts are empty because she's been starved? For the love of humanity and for the love of Islam, please don't do this. Allow us to march to Gaza.
In Jordan, King Abdullah has...
so these people are literally letting people starve to death. All right, as he sits on his chubby fat neck ass, Benjamin Milkowski, Benjamin Netanyahu, not a Jew, and he's and it's all for money and power. He don't care about people and human life. These people weren't his enemies. They weren't incapable. They were not capable or trying to harm him and his people at all. All right. If anything, anytime they would lash out, it was usually in response to some violence or things that was done against them. And that, matter of fact, me just saying that will get me labeled as an anti, Semitic. All right. I will get attacked, and just for speaking some truth. And they hide behind that word. Anytime you point out their wrongdoing or any sort of oppression, here they come with the whole anti-semantics game. The blame game, and which all of a sudden they put up this shield. It's like a, what was it, that game that the kids used to play, the Pokemon? All right, they throw out the shield card, the victim card. You get caught doing all kind of malice and wickedness, and all of a sudden you got this card in your pocket. You throw out this victim card. All of a sudden, the violins and the sad face, and you're the victim all of a sudden.
Has done everything he can to protect Israel, from arresting Palestinians to facilitating the interception of Iranian drones over their airspace and stopping them from reaching Israel, to taking part in the land bridge which helped Israel circumvent the naval blockade by the Yemen.
And now that's failing because Israel's getting touched. As a matter of fact, I just watched a video of a clip of a it looked like I guess it was an Iron Dome malfunction. They sent some things up to stop something incoming, but then their own missiles hit some of their own population. So, these people are not safe. This is how you know that they aren't the people of the Lord. They're not dwelling in peace and safety alone, as the scriptures say they would. And the world is not coming to them to learn the ways of the Lord. I mean, these people kosher pork and have, Pink City and all everything that's against them. Remember, man, they're Talmudists. They have a whole nother book, and the Judaism is a whole nother. They don't follow. Judaism does not match up with the Bible at all, in any way whatsoever, at all. All right, they can the Bible and the Talmud are complete in opposition of one another.
Many armed forces. Across the region, rulers preside over billions of people who are deeply opposed to what Israel is doing. However, those rulers have existing covert business relations with the Zionist entity occupying Palestine. The son-in-law of Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, set up an investment firm by the name of Affinity Partners. He described it as a corridor for Gulf investment in Israel. Where did the money come from for this investment firm? $2 billion from the Saudi government and millions more from other governments like the UAE and Qatar. This Saudi-backed project, Affinity Partners, acquired ownership of Israel's largest shipbuilding company, the Shlomo Group. Following October 7th, the Shlomo Group provided military vehicles to Unit 5101.
So what's happening is this is mirroring Halliburton. Same thing. Where there were no weapons of mass destruction. Just saw the advertisement for Green Zone the other day with Matt Damon. Basically, it was a movie where he went and proved that the movie showed you that there never were any weapons of mass destruction, but they went to war because they wanted to get control over the region. Plus, they were able to make billions upon billions of dollars in profit by funding the war machine and making money. Money is war to these Edomites. It's said, by the sword thou shalt live. Let's get that. And that's what these people are. They're living, they're fulfilling their lot. And so if there is no war, they create one. Genesis 27 and 40. And it reads, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, and that thou shalt break the yoke off thy neck. So Esau got from under Jacob and got dominion over the earth. Okay? And now he has dominion, and the beauty of it is that his dominion is coming to an end. All right? He's falling. And the saints of the Most High are going to take the kingdom. So it says, like I said, the triumphant of the wicked is only for a moment. And they're coming. That's Job 18th chapter. Let's go back to Isaiah 47. And we'll end it there. And I'm going to start at 11 again, just read down to 15. And it reads, therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thy enchantments, your Talmud and all your witchcraft books, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, when thou hast labored from thy youth, all the blood sacrifices and adrenochrome, all right? If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now thy astrologers and stargazers and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things which shall come upon thee. Tapping in to the dark side, tapping in, CERN, trying to reach out to the spirit world. Messages came back that you're going to be destroyed. They know that their time is short. All right. This is why they're acting so volatile. Behold, they shall be stubble, and fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before. Thus shall they be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even the merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. So they're going to lose all their money, all their wealth, and all their power. And Esau, Edom is going to be put. The great changing of places, just like the movie. And the scriptures tells you that the first shall be last. Amalek, the JOOs, the small hats, They're the first of the nations. They're above everybody right now. They can do no wrong. They have the victim cards. Anti-semantics. All right. All the nations are helping them. And now all the nations are going to be against them. They're exposed. All right. Esau, Edom will fall. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal.